Hello students, so we are discussing about atomic structure. Now, last videos I have already told you about the basic concept of atomic structure. That means you have learned about Rutherford's atomic theory, and there he has told atoms are in one nucleus, and most of the space of in the structure of an atom is vacant. Okay, and now and around nucleus in separate orbit, electrons will be revolved around the nucleus. That is the Rutherford atomic theory. Okay, this one we have discussed that one nucleus will be there, and around nucleus in different orbit, electrons will be revolved. Okay, now after that, and when he discovered this theory, he has told that whenever an electron is revolving in a particular orbit, it will simultaneously release the energy. It will release the energy continuously. It will release energy. That means whenever an electron revolving around nucleus, it will release energy. That statement is wrong for Rutherford atomic theory. That is, it is a drawback of Rutherford atomic theory. Whatever he has told, except this one, all are, that means all are right, but this one is not correct, and this one corrected by the Niels Bohr. Okay, and that theory we will discuss here. That is the Bohr's theory. Okay, Bohr atomic model. Okay, Bohr's atomic model we will discuss. Now this one is very important, that Bohr's quantum model. Now what he has stated, that whenever electron revolving around the nucleus, it will neither gain energy nor radiate energy. Okay, and that is the corrected form. Rutherford told that whenever electron revolving around nucleus, it will continuously radiate energy. But the fact is that whenever electron revolving around nucleus, it will neither gain energy nor radiate energy. And this is corrected by Niels Bohr in his theory, that means Bohr's atomic model. Now listen, normally what he has said, what Bohr concluded, that whenever electron is revolving around a nucleus, if it releases energy, then a time will come when electron will lose all the energy of it. That means there will be no energy left to rotate among itself. Okay, to rotate around the nucleus. So what will happen? That there will be no energy left for the electron to rotate. Okay, so it will fall into the nucleus. So, and it cannot be happen. That means electron cannot be fall in the nucleus. So if we consider Rutherford atomic theory, that electrons while revolving around the nucleus, it will radiate energy. So this will happen simultaneously. At a time will come, in that time electron lose all the energy, and after that it will fall in the nucleus, and it will not explain the stability of the atom. It cannot be there that a electron is fall on the nucleus. So this is corrected by the Niels Bohr in its atomic theory. Okay, so that is the drawback of Rutherford atomic theory. Drawback of Rutherford's atomic theory. Okay, this one you have to explain. That this is the drawback of Rutherford atomic theory. What will happen? This nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus and simultaneously releasing energy. So what will happen? Like this, it is revolving, but what will happen after releasing so kind of energy? Its energy will be no longer left. So what will happen? It will fall in a spiral path like this path to the nucleus, and this will destabilize the atom. So this is the first drawback of Rutherford atomic theory. And number two, what he has done, Rutherford just compared the atomic structure to the solar system, and that is also incorrect. The structure of an atom is not similar with the solar system, because as he has compared like that in the solar system, sun is in the middle, and in different orbits planets are orbiting, actually. And same wise in atomic structure, in the middle and in different orbit, electrons are rotating. But what is the default here, that in Rutherford's atomic theory or in structure of atom, in one orbit 2, 3, 4 electron may be there, more than one electron may be there, it is actually. But in solar system, in one orbit, it is not possible to, in one orbit there will be two planets. We all know that in single orbit only one planet will be revolved. So this is the discrepancy between system and your atomic structure. And again, in solar system of planets and the sun, okay, there is a attraction force, gravitational attraction. That attraction is nothing but the gravitational attraction. But here the attraction is the your normal, the attraction between positive charge nucleus and the negative charge electron. So this is the difference between this solar system and the atomic structure. Okay, so these two were the default of Rutherford atomic theory. So after that, Niels Bohr came and he has given its atomic model. And what he has given, first he has told that nucleus, around nucleus, electron will revolve in a certain stationary orbit, and the radius of those orbits will be fixed, it will not change. Okay, and those orbits will be called as stationary orbit. Around nucleus, electron will revolve in a certain stationary orbit and their radius are fixed. Okay, so what is the theory of this writing? Electrons will revolve around nucleus within fixed orbit. Okay, those orbits are called stationary. Students, you can follow this point. Those orbits will be called as stationary orbit. Now, and their radius are fixed. That's why they are called stationary orbit. Okay. Now, one extra point I want to join here, and those circular. Those orbits will be circular. Now, say I'm just explaining this point. This is the nucleus, and in different orbit, electrons will revolve. So this orbit is the first orbit whose radius will be like this. If one electron present in this orbit, radius will be the distance between the nucleus, center of the nucleus. So the radius of k orbit is this one. This is fixed. And again, this is the second orbit. This is named as L. So that orbits will be named as K, L, M, and like that. And this is the first orbit. This is the first orbit. This is second orbit. Likewise, third orbit, fourth orbit will be there. Now, these orbits may be numbered by n. That means the first orbit, and here n equal 1. That means it is the first orbit. Second orbit, here number of second orbit is 2, so it is L. After that, m orbit will be there, n orbit will be there. Likewise, Bohr given this name of the orbits. Now, what is n here? N is nothing but the integer value. N is nothing but integer, and here n has a particular significance. You will study this one later in quantum theory, that this is called principal quantum number. This is called principal, and it has a significance. But here n is nothing but the number of the orbits. For k orbit, the value of n is 1. For k orbit, the value of n is 1, and for L orbit, the value of n is 2. For m orbit, the value of n is 3. Subsequently, it will go. Okay, likewise. So I think you have understood. Okay. So electrons will revolve within a certain stationary orbit. Okay, whose radius will be fixed. Now, this is the nucleus, and electrons say in k orbit. This is the radius r. That means distance between the nucleus to the electron. Now, as electron is a particle, it has a particular mass. So, say the mass of electron is m. It is denoted by small m. Okay, and the radius of the circular orbit is r. Okay, and as electron is moving within a certain a particle is moving, say I am moving, so I will have a particular velocity. So electron is moving in a circular orbit, so it has a particular velocity, that is nothing but divided by v. So what I have told here, that this electron will have a particular mass, that is m, it will have a velocity, that is v, and the radius of this path is r. Okay, now this will generate a momentum. This will generate, as one particle is revolving around a circular orbit, this will generate a momentum. Now if a particle is moving in a straight he is moving, it is moving in a straight line, then it will have a momentum. Momentum means mass into velocity. Momentum means mass into velocity if it goes in a straight line. But if the particle is moving in a circular orbit, it will have a momentum, and that momentum will be called as angular momentum. That momentum will be called as what? Angular momentum. That momentum will be called as angular. Now this angular momentum we can calculate by multiplying the radius with this mass into velocity. So angular momentum is denoted as mvr. Now Bohr has seen here that he has observed, whenever an electron is moving in a circular orbit within a fixed radius, the electron will have a angular momentum, and the value of angular momentum will be integral multiple of a particular constant whose value is constant. Okay, will be integral multiple of a particular constant, and that constant is h by 2 pi. Now in your class I am giving this concept because this is the perfect Bohr's theory. So you will ask what is h? Just I am telling you, just angular momentum m here is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. H by 2 pi. Now this h is a constant, and it is named by a scientist Planck's constant. This constant is called Planck constant, and here will be integral multiple of h by 2 pi, that means it is nh by 2 pi. Here n is the number of orbit. N is the number of orbit. For k orbit, value of n is 1. Okay, so whenever electron is revolving in a circular orbit, in k, then here the angular momentum will be Vr equal 1h by 2 pi, because here the value of n is 1h by 2 pi. If it is orbiting in second orbit, if that electron is there in the second orbit, then it will be 2h by 2 pi. So this is the first postulate of Bohr atomic theory, that electrons were revolving in a circular orbit, that orbit should be stationary, and while revolving in that orbit, the angular momentum of that electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Angular momentum of that electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. This is the first. Now this is corrected form of Rutherford atomic theory. Rutherford told, the second postulate given by the Bohr, Rutherford told that while revolving around the nucleus, it will release energy, but Bohr told that it will not gain energy, not radiate energy. Okay, whenever an electron is moving in a circular orbit around the nucleus, it will neither gain energy nor radiate energy. This is the second postulate of while revolving around nucleus, electrons will neither gain energy, nor radiate. This is the second postulate of Bohr atomic theory. Clear, students? Now we are going to in third. Now what is the third postulate? That electron can move from one orbit to another orbit. That means you have already learned that electron around the nucleus orbits are there, k orbit, L orbit. That means these cells, electronic cells, these are the, okay, energy state. These are all are energy state. So electron can move from one energy state to another energy state during the chemical reaction. So this is observed by Moore, that he is telling whenever electron going from lower energy state to higher energy state, that means from k orbit to L orbit or L orbit to M orbit, in that time only it will gain the energy. It will gain the energy. Whenever electron going from one orbit to another orbit, that means lower orbit to higher orbit, lower energy state to higher energy state, it will absorb energy, and after that it will go. It can go, because when we are moving upward, we should gain the energy. Same as for the electron also. Whenever electron is going to higher orbit, it will absorb energy, and whenever electron is moving from higher orbit to it is jumping from higher orbit to lower orbit, it will release the energy. Okay, so the third one, while jumping from energy state means this orbit, okay, higher energy state to lower energy state to lower energy state, electron will absorb energy. Okay, and while jumping from lower orbit to higher energy state to lower energy state, it will release energy. Okay, and while moving from lower to higher, from lower to higher, it will radiate, so it will absorb energy. Okay, while moving from lower orbit to higher orbit, it will absorb the energy. So these are the postulates of Bohr atomic theory, and these are very important. So what I have discussed here, I have discussed first the drawback of Rutherford atomic theory, and after that, and two drawbacks are there. That means it cannot explain the stability of an atom, and after that it compared with the solar system, and then that one you have to show by that spiral curve, that electron is falling on the nucleus. Okay, and three postulates of Bohr atomic theory. Okay, and another information is given that how many electron can present, how many electron can be there in a particular orbit. For a particular orbit, how many electron will be there? Because different atom having different number of electron, different proton. How many electron can be present in a particular orbit? That can be calculated by the rule 2n square. And where n is the principal quantum number, you know, just I am giving for k orbit. Just for k orbit, what is the value of n? It is the first orbit of the nucleus, above the nucleus. So here the value of n is equal to 1. So for k orbit, 2 into 1 square, that means 2. So for k orbit, highest number of electron can be present in k orbit, that is 2. The maximum number of electron in k orbit can be present, that is 2. For L orbit, the value of n equal to, so maximum number of electron can be present 2 into 2 square, so it is 8. Okay, subsequently you will calculate. Understood? And if you have any doubt regarding this topic, you can ask me over phone or over comment box, so I can reply you properly and I can make the second video. So if you like this video, then do like, comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you, students.